Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cairn with Avelenivius. We're going to be starting our journey to climb the Mount of Kami, which is going to be, if I understand it right, the most difficult mountain to climb in the world of Cairn. So, fingers crossed that we can manage it without dying or even losing uh, our health or risk any injuries.
Oh, play the message.
Hey, it's Naomi. Just making sure you got this before you're too high up. I wanted to say, be careful. You know I always worry. Watch for the snakes, the drops, the loose holds, the cold, your food supply, and so on and so forth. Also to say that I'm always with you, you know? She says from her couch. Anyways, that's all I had, sweetie. Hang in there.
Good thing you don't know about the bears. You wouldn't have let me leave.
Okay. Sad that we do not get to be introduced to those people that talk to Ava and communicate with her. Cannot really say much about who that is because, yeah, they were never introduced. But yeah.
Hey, you up? Time to go. Could you also pack up the tent, please?
This tent setup that we could see just about now.
All right.
Actually also
Let's start from here.
it's actually also something that's very real in real climbing scenarios. It's not going to be used by anyone, honestly speaking, because there's no point when you have certain routes that only extend for like a couple dozen meters, of course, but it's quite popular in scenarios like the one similar to the scenario in the game, the Mount of Kami, because you can, of course, climb mountains with the capabilities of being a rock climber, and sometimes that means that you're going to be climbing a rock face that's even a couple hundred meters high. Climbing is a sport that needs to be approached with care, with attention to what you're going to do, and being very patient with it. You need to plan strategically what you're going to do on the rock face, especially in a scenario like the one that I'm talking about. And what this leads to is that one climb can take even as long as 24 hours even, I think. I'm not sure if I ever saw the possibility, saw the scenario that somebody was doing a climb like this, but I definitely watched some people climb for a dozen hours or so. So 12 between 12 and 18 hours, I believe. And you of course won't manage such a climb in a single day because you need sunlight to be climbing carefully, to be climbing with safety. And for that you sometimes are going to be required to spend the night on the rock face. Actually, you won't have the nice option of finding a ledge somewhere, a shelf, a rock shelf, to set up a tent on some ground-like rock formation. So you're going to have to find a piece of equipment that you can set with. I'm not sure how exactly this works. I think you need some anchors, some uh, anchors built from climbing gear, and with those anchors you can set up a tent like this one, or some sort of ledge built with yeah, some flooring and such. Yeah, so this is pretty much very real. You're going to be seeing something like this in real climbing scenarios. But yeah, enough about that. One more thing. It's the setting up of such camp on the rock face is most frequent and pretty much only used in scenarios where you're climbing a so-called multi-pitch route. So a pitch is like a route that goes from the starting point up until the anchor. And in a multi-pitch route you're going to have multiple anchors, so when you move between them, these are so-called pitches, where you can set up the scenario where you and your climbing partner can belay each other. One guy is going to be belaying from below while the other climbs, and when the other one climbs up and reaches the anchor, the top, then they're going to take turns, and then the one at the top is going to belay the one below. And that way you can recover the climbing gear used along the way and use it further on other pitches. Yeah, pretty dangerous stuff, honestly speaking. You need a specific training for that. I myself have never done anything like that. I never even attended such training. I'm only trained in climbing singular pitches, so pretty much the sport climbing routes. And that's what is also kind of required before you jump into such climbing, I believe. You need to gather some experience first in order to proceed with multi-pitch climbing safely. And yeah, now we can shut up and just continue on with the climb. So I think here we need to go to the left. I cannot really scout ahead really easily. The Alt key seems to be disabled for this one, but that's okay. Yeah, we're going to go to the left, reach this ledge above, and then yeah, we'll try to scout ahead from there because I cannot extend much further. Okay, so let's start climbing. Eva is going to stretch very nicely here to reach a bit further up, maybe here as well. Doesn't really do much for us, but that's okay. Oof, that was close. We need to run away from this situation. Come on, Eva. Nice. The stretching mechanic could be working a bit better, because you need to wait for a long time sometimes for her to figure out that you want to stretch. Okay, now let's move our feet nicely to the right. And actually, this type of move is very much real. It's called a step over. Stepping over with your hands would be a crossover. These are all very nice climbing techniques that are very useful to have, especially when rock climbing. You don't always have as many holds or steps for your feet to use, so you need to be as creative as possible. Okay, let's wait here for a moment. I wonder wonder if she's going to get tired here if I just stay like this. I hope not, because I don't want to use the piton at all in this spot still. Yeah, I think I can go as far as halfway without care, because those ledges right here are very generous to us. So yeah, let's continue on. Let's push forward, move our steps a little bit, even a little bit helps in terms of rock climbing, because rock climbing is all about reach. The further you can reach, the easier the climbing will be. Yeah, even here, placing my right foot just a couple centimeters higher is going to make a huge difference sometime. Okay. Oh, there's a nice ledge here. Let's shake off in this nice position. A very nice square-like box here with the 4 points of contact. There's a nice step right here. Let's put our hand here, then our left leg. Okay, left feet once again. Not the best, but will do. There's a ledge here. Left hand goes here. Then a very nice ledge over here. Okay. There's a nice hold right here. Our left leg up to this ledge, then stretch up a bit. Yes, very nice. Let's step over here. Cross our hand. Left leg. Right leg. Very nice and super general climbing right here. Alright, nice stretch, although we didn't manage to grab onto the ledge. Okay, let's scout ahead a little bit. I think we just go to the right and then over this sort of a ladder of ledges. Yeah, seems quite easy and straightforward. Okay, let's stretch up. Very nice ledge over here to the right. Okay, that was nice, and stretch up a bit. Okay, that will do. Right leg, sorry, and we are up. Let's collect 1 piton that was left at the bottom. And we've got Cairn. Amazing. Such a beautiful game. And I don't mean the graphics, because the graphics are quite simple, honestly speaking, so yeah, but the setup, the atmosphere, wow.
perfect spot. Where do I start?
Perfect spot and perfect music. I had to shut up for a moment because I wanted to soak in the atmosphere as much as possible. Ascent save. Day 1, the escarpment. Let's see. Western local wildlife, the mountain goat, able to live at altitudes of up to 4,000 meters. The mountain goat is an incredibly agile species, using the rocky terrain to evade predators. Its milk is rich in flavor and fat, ideal for braving the cold and altitude. The common pipistrelle is a small species of bat in the Vespertilionidae family. Can be found in almost any habitat from cities to low mountain areas and usually makes its home in dark places. Harmless, it may surprise unwary hikers by bursting out of cavities. Word of advice from Pika Pika: do not litter on the mountain, of course. Danger: Kami is a Type 4 mountain classified as extremely dangerous. High risk of falls, injuries, avalanches, strong winds. We strongly advise against attempting any ascent. Kami is reserved for mountain professionals with a valid permit. Ha! I wonder if Ava has one. Missing. Worrying disappearance of a hiker. Her car was found in the foothills of Kami, but we have no further news of Anita. A bona fide sportswoman, according to her relatives. Her absence was reported by her employer when she failed to appear at work. Ooh, that's bad. Anita has a slim build and is 1 meter 80 centimeters tall. She has medium length, light brown hair. Okay, I wonder if it's some sort of a side quest. If we are going to stumble upon anything that's regarding her disappearance, we'll see. 5 keys to be a better climber. Grip. Work on your hand strength so the smallest crimp feels like a jug. Focus. Channel your inner power to better recover in comfortable positions. Burst. Take advantage of energy peaks to climb the rock as fast as a white tiger. Grit. Strengthen your mind to disregard the pain. Temperature. Warm up from the inside, your mental burns brighter than the sun. And when practicing doesn't cut it, don't forget to use the chalk. Yeah. Chalk. For some it's a running gag that when you fail or cannot climb hard enough, you need to use more chalk. Which is actually not always the case. Sometimes you do not want to do too much chalk because, as I explained in the last video, I believe, the climbing chalk is supposed to keep your hands dry, and it has nothing to do with how sticky your hands to the rock or to the climbing holds are. So if you use more chalk, you're going to cover up your fingerprints, for example, and that's going to actually make your grip a bit less grippy than it would otherwise be. And also there's a part in the first point, the so-called crimps and jugs are mentioned. These are the type of climbing holds. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you any of those in the game, but there are a couple of types of climbing holds. Jugs are basically the lifesavers because these are the types of holds that are the easiest to grip, to hold on to, and they're kind of resembling a jug sometimes because you can just stick your hands almost into them and reach over to grab them as if you were climbing a ladder, for example, or they're just like huge holes with high surface high amount of surface, big
The
amount of
sky's
surface
bigger up
to
here for sure.
grab onto. Crimps were mentioned there. Crimps are pretty much the counterparts of jacks, because they're going to be the smallest, the tiniest types of climbing holds. They are pretty different across each other, so one crimp can look way different than the other crimp. So for example, if we take a look at this ledge just above my head right here, I would call that a crimp, because it seems like there's only so much surface that you can put your fingertips over this ledge, and that's what makes a crimp. It's like a tiny hold that you can only use your fingers pretty much. Sometimes a couple fingers, sometimes just one or two fingertips. There are those types of crimps called credit card crimps, where they're like a couple of millimeters thick, and that's all you have sometimes in climbing. Then you have pinches as well, the type of holds that you would pinch. So imagine this tree, if we made it way thinner, you would grab it with your fingers and the thumb on the opposite side in order to try to squeeze it or pinch it, hence the name. There's also slopers. Slopers are just big round holds that you don't really have too much friction on them. You can't really grab them or hold on to them. You just have to place your hands kind of over them and play around with the position of your body in order to gain as much friction on them as possible, so that you do not slide off of them, because that's what what slopers tend to do. You slide off them if you don't have enough friction over them. And yeah, from the most general types of climbing holds, that would be it, I guess. There's jacks, there's crimps, there's pinches, there's slopers, and I believe that's all. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting one type of climbing hold, but I cannot really recall what that would be. And because of that, I think I'm going to proceed with climbing. Let's see here. I think it's a viewpoint up here actually. Maybe you can climb up this sort of a pillar in order to see what is up there. There's a broken vending machine here. Yeah, talk about littering in the mountains. Need to pick that up on the way. I see a water source where I'm going to drink some water and fill up any containers that I may have. Actually, let me open my backpack.
Sorry, ladies. Not.
And let's try to compost some litter. Broken camera. Anything else? I think that's all. We can organize this space in the backpack a little bit. Let's make efficient use of the place that we have in the backpack. Okay, that seems logical. Clear water, let's drink it. I wonder what my food bar is at. A third. Maybe I can see if I can cook something before proceeding. Come on, Eva. Jump up. Walking over those tiny ledges seems to be the most difficult part of the game up until this moment. Okay, now I've been there already, so maybe let's get down a little bit. Let's first climb this pillar before we try to cook some food. Let's look for the best option to approach the climb. I think it's going to be this part. I don't see any other way to do so. And it's pretty much just going up all the time. So let's do that. There's so much litter on this mountain, like... Is it really that easily accessible or what? I mean, it seems like we are professionals in the game, and even for the professional it doesn't seem like it's easy to climb this mountain. And there was this part of text about this girl that left her car just below the mountain and what, got up here somehow? She was a hiker, not a climber. But either way, let's not worry about that and just climb our way up this slope. Okay, it's not as easy as I thought it would be right here, but that's okay. I think I will manage. Not the best feet, but that's alright. Oof. Yeah, maybe it's not alright. Let's try to put our feet right here and here. Yeah, that was nice. Extend over to the left maybe. Find the sledge right here. Shake off. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going the right way here, so maybe let's just look back at the climb. I think we need to go over to the left here. Doesn't seem like an easy climb, honestly speaking. But this part right here, although it does have some ledges here. Yeah, then I think I can continue on over here. Right here, foot 1, foot 2, ledge, foot a bit higher up, grab this ledge maybe. I can't extend this far. Why does she insist on moving the left leg so much? Okay, let's try over here, this, grab here.
Come on.
Okay, thanks for the reminder game. Let's put our leg here. Here. Nice ledge over here. Okay. I want my right leg to go up. Nice. Okay, the game wouldn't let me to move my right foot automatically, so I had to use the manual function of limb selection. Otherwise I probably would have failed this climb or had to use the piton to not fall at all. Okay, nice. And from this point on, I think it's going to be quite an easy climb, although why is she shaking so much? Like, what the hell? Okay, the ending here was surprisingly hard. The rock was sloped in a positive angle, so she was leaning over rather than hanging loose. Weird. Quick sip of water. Stay hydrated, everyone. Take a short break, grab a glass of water, and use this moment to hydrate yourself. If you don't do that regularly, of course. I can't explain it, but looking at such views in video games, it makes me feel kind of similar as if I were, for example, in the mountains, soaking in such a view. It's all imaginary and such, but still, maybe because it allows you to imagine you being in such a situation. That brings back memories, maybe. What are those bells over here, I wonder? Ooh, there's some backpack here. Okay, that's interesting. I hope I'm not stealing from somebody. I hope they left it here by accident and didn't manage to come back for it. I can rappel down, and I'll gladly do so. I want to check how this works. Okay, so Eva is just going to set up a tone, and that will allow me to go down. Okay, that's nice. Good to know that we have such an option. Warning, bears may roam on Kami. They're extremely dangerous, stay alert. Do not carry pungent food. Do not leave any waste behind, and never attempt to approach a bear. You hike at your own risk. The national park cannot be held responsible in the event of an attack, of course. Why should it be? It's just pure nature. Okay.
Got them.
Nice. I didn't lose the baton. Let's set up a bivouac. And firstly, let's compost some garbage. I wonder if I can cook anything. Lentils and ham. Okay, pre-cooked. They can be eaten as is, but they taste better if warmed up. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. Use. Aha. I think I was supposed to go over to the cooking menu and cook it there. Well, whatever. I'm not going to eat the chocolate now. I can eat the protein bar, although I'm not sure if it's worth it now. I've got some tea, which is nice. I wonder what I can do with those plants here. Maybe let's check the cooking menu really quick. It's bitter but very effective against stomach aches, very useful in infusion. Well, this one tastes better cooked, but this will do. Let's try to cook it, I want to see what will happen. Cooked dandelion. At home I'd make it an omelette, but with the equipment here simply cooked will be good. Okay, so I get some nice amount of food bar back, some health back, and grit, which is nice. Let's store it for the moment. I don't need to eat it in the moment. Yeah, and I think we're going to leave the episode right here. We've already made quite a nice progress in this episode, so thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Cairn with Avelenivius, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Peace, take care.